outside Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. It happened, that's the scene right now at D.C. It happened shortly around 9 p.m. last night when an Army Black Hawk helicopter collided with a passenger jet, a regional passenger jet flying from Kansas into Washington, D.C. Whit Johnson is on the scene there at Reagan National Airport. Whit.
George, good morning to you. Yes, that search and rescue operation is still playing out frantically. You can see over my left shoulder on the Potomac here. To give you a lay of the land here, we're now in Virginia looking back at Washington, D.C., and that is where the plane and the helicopter collided, both aircraft going down in the water. We're told that 300 personnel, search and rescue operations from different agencies are part of this right now. There are divers in the water as we speak, searching those two aircraft that we knew broke apart when they went in the water. Now, these are frigid temperatures right now, George. We're talking water temperatures of 36 degrees, and the river here just started to thaw out after this deep freeze that they had in recent weeks. So it is dangerous, painstaking work that the divers are going through right now. We know that collision happened overnight, as you noted, just before 9 p.m. as a flight from Wichita, an American Airlines flight, was making its approach for landing, then hitting that Black Hawk helicopter. 60 passengers, 4 crew members were on board the plane. We know that 3 Army soldiers were on board that helicopter. So far, officials say there is no word of any survivors, and they are recovering victims as we speak. George.
Worst air crash in the United States in 15 years. I want to go to Martha Raddatz, our Chief Global Affairs anchor. Martha, you were at Reagan National last night when this all went down?
We were standing by the banks of the Potomac shortly after the planes collided in midair. There were hundreds and hundreds of first responders there. There were tugboats in the water looking for debris, looking for any possible survivors for hours and hours. They had 3 helicopters up when I was there last night looking for anyone as well, carefully going around those waters. Where I was standing, where Whit was standing, was approximately the place where the midair happened. That is the flight path. That American Airlines jet, that regional jet, would have gone down the Potomac River. It was very black last night. Of course, you could see the lights of the city beyond. When you fly in, as you well know, George, you can see on that approach, and they're going north, you can see the Washington Monument, you can see the U.S. Capitol. That helicopter that Whit mentioned, on a training mission, according to the Army, had lined up behind that regional jet. I spoke to a former Black Hawk pilot last night, an Army pilot, who said they have done this numerous times on that river. You see helicopters very frequently along the Potomac River, although there are very tight restrictions. And he said that crew likely, he said he certainly would have had night vision goggles on, a visual approach. That helicopter surely on a visual approach. It was a beautiful night last night. So that helicopter crew, 2 pilots and a crew chief on that helicopter, would have had no weather involved, so would basically be looking around. We've heard the tower say that they asked for visual verification because the helicopter, again, was flying visually. The helicopter, according to them, said they saw the regional jet was lined up, they were lined up behind it. But the pilot also told me, George, it is just a very, very difficult thing to do, to fly a helicopter at night. You have to be aware all the time. And with those lights that you're seeing now, the kind of lights you would see as you go into the city, he said sometimes it is difficult to distinguish between what it is you want to see and perhaps the lights of the city, George.
So many questions to be answered. I know you're going to be on the scene all day long. We'll have full coverage on Good Morning America. Stay with us.
Morning, Kentucky. I'm Walker Simmons.
And I'm Jane Davenport. You were just watching a special report from ABC News on the midair collision between a Black Hawk military helicopter and American Airlines regional plane. The crash happened last night near Reagan National Airport.
As the search for survivors continues, last night's tragic crash also impacting flights here in Lexington.
Let's take a live look at the flight status page at Bluegrass Airport. Right now it's showing a cancellation for a Delta flight that was scheduled to arrive this morning from Washington.